assessing the ecological health of this canal system. This is part of a Water Framework Directive surveillance programme that has been ongoing for very many years, assessing, as I said, the ecological health of the Grand, the Barrow and the Royal Canals, and has been ongoing for maybe 30 years at this stage. We're collating information with the view to getting a classification of the canals. They can be classified as maximum ecological potential, good ecological potential, or moderate, poor or bad. We're collecting information on the biological elements. That would be the plants in the canals, the invertebrates, which are the insects or the bugs in the canals, and the water chemistry. So the bulk of my job would be to assess those quality elements over a 3-year block. It's all done in 3-year blocks. The objective there was to get a representative sample of the insect community in the reed fringe and in the aquatic environment just beside it. That's going to be sorted. By sorted, we mean all of the insects, every one of them will be taken out of that sample, sent to our expert entomologist for identification. We looked at the plant communities in the canal system. We look at them in 2 ways because there's actually 2 components of plants in the canal system. We have the reed fringe on both sides. Very, very important because that gives habitat to wildlife. It also gives habitat to invertebrates, insects and to fish. So very important communities, and we're very lucky here that we have very diverse systems. So we look at them and we quantify them in terms of their encroachment into the canals, abundance and diversity. We then look, using a grapnel, we look at the aquatic vegetation, the vegetation that we can't determine standing here looking into the water, but using the grapnel to grip the weed, we take it at 10 locations along a 150 metre stretch. We weigh the vegetation that comes out, and we then identify all of the vegetation that's there. I'd have to say that the canal here is at top quality. While the canals are artificial systems, man-made, man-built 250 years ago, they have had that long to develop. For a long period of time, there was constant navigation on the canal. The navigation kept the habitat down to a minimum. You had very little vegetation, few enough fish, and the invertebrates they weren't that terribly diverse. When the commercial traffic moved from the canals, we had a system that was let develop on its own. The habitat was permitted to develop. But it could have gone to the stage where the reeds, because the canals are relatively shallow, the reed fringes could actually grow right across and cover the canal systems. That wasn't allowed to happen. And the canals are managed such that the reed fringe will be maintained at about 2 metres into the water, providing a wonderful habitat for wildlife, as I said, for fish and for insects. But then we have the water channel. It can be 10, 12 metres wide, depending on the canal system. And here the weeds are cut or they're managed regularly. If they weren't, unfortunately the canal would overgrow, boats wouldn't be able to pass through it, anglers couldn't fish it, and actually fish would find it even difficult to live in it because you would have serious fluctuations in oxygen levels between day and night. So what we have, even though we have an artificial system, it's a very natural artificial system.